everyone. Yes, I hope all of you are able to see the screen properly. We had just started discussing elasticity of demand, and yes. So, what is elasticity of demand? Elasticity of demand, if I have to put it in simple uh, words, is the responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in price. It's clearly written in the module also. Responsiveness of the quantity demanded. So elasticity is whenever we you all would have seen the rubber uh, band. It's very elastic because when you apply a force, it stretches. So anything which changes because of a change in one factor, we call it as elastic. जो प्राइस के चेंज होने से अगर क्वांटिटी चेंज होती है, क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड, then that product is very elastic. लेकिन ऐसी कमोडिटी जिसका क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड वॉइस नॉट कमिंग इट्स ऑन are all able to hear the am I to everyone? Yes, okay. So that's what we mean by elasticity when for a particular commodity, when a price changes and the quantity demanded also responds to that price change, we will say that commodity is very elastic. The elasticity is positive. Example of a commodity जहाँ पे price elasticity negative रहेगी will be of necessary goods. If the price of the necessary goods increases, we will still consume. For example, fruit, vegetables, food grains. Even if the price increases, there is hardly any change in the quantity demanded. So the responsiveness of the quantity demanded is very minimum to the change in price of a commodity. Such commodities will be called as commodities having very negligible elasticity. How do we measure price elasticity? We measure by a very simple formula. We'll see an example also. Quantity change in quantity demanded is compared to change in price of a commodity, and if the answer is positive, then the elasticity is relatively positive. If there is no response of quantity demanded, for example, the petrol prices, even if they increase, it's a necessary goods. कल पेट्रोल का प्राइस बढ़ भी गया तो हम पेट्रोल खरीदना बंद नहीं करेंगे. Hence, elasticity for petrol will be negative or negligible or no change, inelastic. So whenever there is a change in quantity demanded due to change in price of a commodity, we say there is elastic demand, there is elasticity. And when there is no change or very negligible change, we will say it is inelastic. So there are 5 types of elasticity. But before we go to that, what is elasticity? Let's revise. Whenever, so we have seen change in price will have an impact on quantity demanded, but how much? Now that study of impact of change in price on change in quantity demanded is what we call it as elasticity. And this is the formula. Responsiveness of quantity demanded to change in its price is what we call as elasticity, and we measure it. Delta means change. Percentage of change in quantity demanded, QD stands for quantity demanded, to quantity to change in price. This is the simple formula for calculating whether there is price elasticity prevailing or it is inelastic for a particular product. Now, when a change in price causes a smaller percentage of change in demand, we will say the demand is the elasticity is inelastic. The price elasticity is inelastic. Example I have given you petrol. Then there is another example can be salt. If the price of salt increases, the demand would largely be unchanged because we need that product for consumption and we need it in a very small percentage. So even if there is a change in price of a salt, the quantity which people demand today for salt is not going to change. Hence, there also it will be an inelastic demand. Another example of inelastic demand would be, for example, railway tickets. Even if the price of railway tickets increases, there is no change in the quantity demanded. People are not going to stop traveling from trains if government increases the price of railway tickets. Now, these are the example of inelastic demand. What is the examples of elastic demand? If price of one product increases and people stop buying it or reduce the consumption, there it will be elasticity in the demand. For example, wherever there are easy substitute available. So let's compare two products, the substitutes. Let's say KitKat and Munch. Both are substitute, very closely related to each other, very close substitute. If a price of KitKat increases, most of the consumers will start switching to Munch. Now here for KitKat, it is elasticity in the demand because a change in price has resulted in change in demand. Similarly, if he reduces the prices, then the consumers today who are opting for Munch will start shifting on KitKat. So there also the elasticity is positive. There will be very few cases where there is no change in the quantity demanded, even if there is a change in price. One example is wherever there is a monopoly, for example, railways, you will not see a change in demand if there is a change in price. When there is absolutely no change in the quantity demanded of a product or a services because of change in prices, okay, yes, the concepts are related to Exceptions will always be there. Yeah. So in monopoly market where we don't have any other option, there it will be inelasticity because people have no other option but to go and buy from the particular buyer or particular seller. Hence, there will be inelastic. Now let's understand by way of a graph. In this graph, if you see, the price has increased to P1 and the quantity demanded. So with no change in price, still the quantity demanded is increasing. So this is increase. The quantity demanded is increase. Price is same at P1. Now this is a case where the quantity demanded has increased even though there is very slight change in the price. Very rare to find such examples in the real scenario in the practical world. But yes, in a concept, if we have to understand, perfectly elastic demand means when a small change in price of a product causes a major change in its demand, it is said to be perfectly elastic. So there is a small change and demand has increased substantially. It will be a case of perfect elasticity. Perfect inelasticity is exact opposite. The price is increasing, but there is no change in the quantity demanded. Now, this will be scenario for those products where it is a necessary product for public to buy, and even though the price is increasing, the demand is the same. So quantity demanded here you will see is static at Q, same, whereas price is increasing from P1 to P2, P2 to P3, the quantity demanded is same here. There is no change in the quantity demanded. So when a change in price has no impact on quantity demanded, which means the responsiveness is negligible, is zero. People are still buying the product even though the price have increased. We will discuss the perfect elasticity. Let's complete this topic first. Example of perfect inelastic demand I gave you few. Salt will be one. Price increases, demand will not change. It's a very small percentage of income goes there. Petrol, again, a perfect inelasticity. Even if the price increases, people are not going to stop consuming petrol. That's a necessity now. So that is perfectly inelastic. Clear? Now let's move to relative elasticity. What is relative elasticity? So we have understood the difference between elasticity and inelasticity. When a change in price results in change in quantity demanded, there is elasticity. When change in price does not have an impact on quantity demanded or the impact is less, there is inelasticity. So now let's first understand the example here, which I have written for all of you. Are you able to see? Yes. Are you able to see the example? Yes. So through this example, let's understand if the price of commodity has reduced from 100 to 80, quantity demanded has increased from 10 units to 12. The first, right? Now, when we calculate elasticity, how much is the percentage change in price? In all the scenarios, I have kept 20%. The product price of a product has reduced from 100 to 80. So, how much is the percentage change in price? It is 20%. Now, in the first case, how much is the change in quantity demanded? It has increased from 10 to 12. So, quantity demanded is 2. Change in quantity demanded is 2. In terms of percentage, when we calculate, it is 20%. Now, when we compare how much is the change in quantity to the change in price, which is change in quantity demanded by change in quantity price, they are exactly same. Now, here we get 1, it is exactly change. Second example, change in quantity, change in price is 20, change in quantity is 5, that is 50%. So change in quantity demanded is more than the change in price. Here it is elasticity, positive, relative. Where change in quantity is less, here only one quantity demanded has increased only by 1, that is 10%. So the change in price is more than the change in quantity demanded. In the last example, the price of commodity has reduced, but there is no change in quantity demanded. It is 0, which means when there is absolutely same percentage of change, we call that as unitary elastic. The first case, change in price 20%, change in quantity demanded also 20%. So the answer will come as 1. It is the case of unitary elasticity, where the change in quantity demanded equally proportional change in price. That's the case of unitary elasticity. Second, when the change in quantity demanded is more than the change in price, we say it's a case of relative elasticity. And where the change in quantity demanded is less than the change in price, percentage wise, we say it's an example of relative inelasticity. Where there is no impact on the quantity demanded because of the change in price, whether it's increasing or reducing, people are going to consume the same quantity, then there is perfect inelasticity, no impact on quantity demanded. प्राइस कम हो रहा है, ज्यादा हो रहा है, लेकिन कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड पे, दैट इज परफेक्ट इनइलास्टिसिटी. एंड लास्ट, स्मॉल चेंज इन प्राइस इंक्रीज, 100 से 99 हो गया प्राइस और क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया, दैट विल बी अ केस ऑफ परफेक्ट इलास्टिसिटी. एक कमोडिटी का प्राइस कम होने से उसका क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड बहुत बढ़ गया. फॉर एग्जांपल, if a price of a commodity reduces, let's say अगर कोई कल एप्पल फोन सस्ते हो जाएंगे, then people will prefer to buy more of Apple products. Similarly, any yes, rightly put by gold. is also a case where even if slight increase in prices, people will prefer to buy more gold. Again, there will be elasticity, but whether that will be perfectly elastic or not, that's a very difficult to see in the practical scenario. Yes. Now, once we have understood, let's see the graphical representation also. Whenever there is more change in quantity demanded, then the change in price, there is elasticity. So relative elasticity, no, yeah, perfect. We see relative elasticity. The change in price is only small. It has increased from 50 to 60, but the quantity demanded has reduced from 100 to 50. There is a big change in the quantity demanded. Relative inelasticity, where price increase has is 40%, 10 to 14, but the change in quantity demanded is only 10%. So the change in price leads to a very small change in the quantity demanded. It will be a scenario of inelasticity, relative inelasticity. And where it is exactly same, the quantity demanded and quantity change in price is exactly same. 10% change in price, 10% change in quantity demanded. It will be a case of unitary elasticity. When the proportionate change in demand produces same change in the price of product, the demand is referred as unitary elastic. Well, again, very rare phenomena to see in the practical world. But yes, relative elasticity is very much seen. Now let's understand very quickly what are the factors which affect elasticity of demand. First, obviously, price level. The demand is generally elastic for moderately priced goods, but the demand for very costly and very cheap goods is inelastic. The rich do not bother about the price of goods that they buy. Very costly goods are demanded by rich people. Hence, their demand is not affected by the change in price. So, Mercedes, BMW, luxurious goods, their demand, the quantity demanded will have a very small impact due to change in prices. And the reason is because a smaller section of people consume it, rich section, rich people consume it. So they will not really bother about what is the change in price. But the goods which are moderately priced or economical, there we will see a big change in quantity demanded because of the change in price. Yes. Availability of substitutes. So example I gave already, not audible. Yes. Availability of substitute. If a commodity has close substitutes available, then small change in price, people will shift to the substitute. So I gave you the example of KitKat and Munch substitutes. If price of KitKat increases, their quantity demanded will reduce. People will prefer to buy it from another. People will buy it from another manufacturer. Let's say Munch. They shift. The quantity demanded will change. Yes, Perk also are close substitutes. So a small rise in price of a commodity will induce the consumers to switch their consumption to its substitute. Examples are given: gas, kerosene oil, coal also are the example. And where I don't have a substitute as such available, then whatever be the price, I will have to buy it. I don't have other option available. So when there are substitutes available, there will be elasticity. When there are no substitutes available, it will be inelastic. Necessities. Necessities, we need it, we will have to consume it. So irrespective of change in price, I am going to buy it and I need it. So whatever be the price, I will still go and buy it, which means there will be inelasticity. So if a good is necessity, then demand tends to be inelastic. If price of drinking water rises, then there is unlikely to be a huge drop in quantity demanded. For example, can be vegetables. Basic vegetables, basic necessities, food grains, even if price increases, there will be hardly any change in the quantity demanded. Next is luxury goods, time period. So what do you mean by time period here? If we if the good is a short term need, if we are buying it for a short term purposes, then price increases. Let's say medicines, right? We need it for a very short term. If I want some medicine, and even if the price increases, it's a very short term need which I want to fulfill, then price increase will hardly have any impact on the demand. It will be inelastic. Another example of time period where it takes good amount of time to supply a product or services. For example, a flat or a bungalow, there will be elasticity. Long term product, and I can delay my decisions to buy. So there it will be elasticity. Yes. Habits. If I'm addicted to some product, I'm consume the addicted to the consumption of a particular product. Example, cigarettes. Example, alcohol. Then people don't really bother whether there is corona, whether there is change in price. People will still go and buy that commodity. So when there is an addiction, when I am habitual to a particular commodity, then even though I have a substitute available or whatever be the prices, company or people will still go and buy those products. Hence, the demand will be elastic. It will not have any impact. Change in price will not have any impact for the goods where people are habitual of buying it. Nature of commodities. Demand for necessities is inelastic. We discussed it. Because it's a necessity, we will have to buy it irrespective of whatever the price. Okay, I'll give you more examples. Don't worry. About luxury goods, nature of goods, if it is luxury, what will be the impact? If the price of a luxury good increases, will there be change in their quantity demanded? Yes, it will be elastic. It's a luxury goods. Any change in small, any change in price will have an impact on the quantity demanded. People will buy those commodities when there is a change in price. Various uses. Now, any commodity which has more than one usage will have an elastic demand. For example, milk. If price of milk goes down, and milk has several uses, you can make curd out of it, you can make paneer out of it, and whatnot, butter out of it. So one commodity and there are several uses, and hence if there is change in prices, if the price of a milk goes down substantially, people will buy in more quantity because now they can use the same commodity for other purposes because the product has more than one utility. So when there is more than one utility value attached to a product, quantity demanded will increase when there is a change in price. Not audible. I would say check at your end. I think it's working fine. Yes. Postponing consumption. So where I can postpone my consumption. Yes, I'll come to that. Usually the demand for commodities, the consumption of which can be postponed, is elastic. As the prices rises and are expected to fall again, people will prefer to postpone their decision. Again, a perfect example will be a flat or a house property. The prices are high, and as of now, I really don't need to buy that commodity. I will postpone my decision. But that cannot be the scenario with medicine. If I need a particular medicine for my treatment, then whatever be the price, I will have to buy it now. I cannot postpone it. So in case of a product where the consumption can be postponed, जिसका consumption हम postpone कर सकते हैं to a future date, I will respond to the change in price. If price increases, I will not buy it. If price reduces, I will buy it. But in case of a commodity where consumption cannot be postponed to a future date, that scenario, there will be inelasticity because I cannot postpone my decision. I will have to buy the commodity at a particular price. Let's go to time period. Some people were asking me to repeat it again. Time period. Over a time, a good tend to become more elastic because consumers and businesses have more time to find alternatives. If the price of gasoline goes up over time, people will adjust for the change. They may drive less or use public transportation or form carpools. So here what they have mentioned, over a period of time, even though the price is increasing, people will adapt to the situation. They are able to find the substitute over a period of time, then price change will have an impact. But they are not able to find a substitute in the long period, then they will have to buy the commodity at the same price. I think I said opposite of various uses. I don't think so. If the milk prices goes down, the quantity demanded will increase. I said difference between time period and postponing consumption. So time period there is this can be interpreted in a different manner. Let's say for time period, if I give you the example of a perishable goods, if a product which is perishable in nature, which is of a very short term, the time period attached to the product is short term, you will have to consume it within a prescribed time, otherwise the goods will decay or got destroyed. What will happen? Yes, vegetables. Now time period, it will work at both ends. If there is shortage in supply and the vegetables are priced high, what we saw in the current pandemic situation, initially people were not getting vegetables. So whatever the price was, people were buying it. For a period of time when the vegetables were made available, People realize that if the supply is not going to get hampered, then the suppliers had to reduce their prices. So when it comes to time period, it will have an impact on quantity demanded. In short term, the quantity demanded can be inelastic, but in long term, it can become elastic because people, if are able to find more options in the long term, they will start responding to price changing. Okay, postpone consumption, where I can postpone my consumption of a commodity or a product, and I respond to change in prices. If a product I don't need it immediately, for example, a car, I don't need a car right now. I'm in a situation where I don't really need it. It's not a necessity as such. Then I will wait for the prices to go down. And once the prices go down, I will buy it. There it is elasticity. I am responding to change in prices. But where I cannot postpone the consumption medicines, then I will have to buy it. I cannot postpone the consumption of that commodity. So whatever the price, I will have to purchase it. Habits, okay, it's very simple. If I'm addicted to consumption of alcohol, then whatever the price, people will still go and buy it. So inelasticity. Now we are studying elasticity where the factor of change is price. When the factor of change increases to changes from price to income, for example, now I am studying if a change in income of a consumer, if the income changes, then what will be the impact on quantity demanded? So when my salary was 25,000, I used to travel on a two-wheeler. But when my income increases to 1 lakh rupees per month, let's say, I will prefer that I buy a four-wheeler for myself. Another example, when my salary was 10,000, I was staying in a rented apartment. When my salary increases, I buy myself a flat. So change in quantity demanded for products will be there when there is a change in income. Similarly, when my income reduces, earlier I used to have 50,000 rupees as a salary, but due to this pandemic situation, I am not getting paid from my employer. My income has gone down. Then let's say earlier I had few subscriptions on some, sorry. So let's say earlier there were few products which I was buying regularly. I had mobile phones, both had, yes, and both had a good internet connection attached. I will give up on one because income has gone down. So change in income will have an impact on quantity demanded. But irrespective of the change in income, there will be few commodities which I will still buy it. For example, even if my income reduces from 50,000 to 10,000, I may give up on my car, I may give up on my two-wheeler and start traveling in a public transport. But I cannot give up on my basic necessities, let's say food. So some category of goods, the change in income will not have any impact or very minimum impact, and that is necessity. But when it comes to luxury goods, if my income increases, I will opt for luxury goods. But my income reduces, I will not buy luxury goods. So change in income will have impact on quantity demanded for luxury goods. The exception we have already discussed, Giffen goods, inferior goods. if income increases, so let's say given goods, if you have to understand, earlier I used to travel through public transport. My salary was 10,000 per month. My salary has increased from 10,000 to 25,000 now. Now, even though the salary has increased, income has increased, public transport being inferior goods, I will stop availing that service and I will shift to another commodity, another service provider which is superior to public transport. Maybe I will start traveling in a cab, Uber, Ola, or I will buy a vehicle for myself. Income elasticity, when we study what is going to be the impact in quantity demanded due to change in income of a consumer. So responsiveness of a commodity to a change in income of a consumer is what we call it as income elasticity. Demand for most goods increases when there is increase in income. However, for inferior goods, it's reverse. When the standard of living goes up, people prefer to buy superior commodities. Hence, for them, it will be negative. The formula is same. Instead of change in price, you have to replace it with change in income. Change in quantity demanded, numerical questions will come. You will have MCQs only. So even if it comes, you will be given four options. You will have to find. So types of income elasticity, again the same: unitary, relatively elastic, relatively inelastic, perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic. Negative demand for commodity falls as income rises. The trend is visible in case of inferior goods. So when income increases, the quantity demanded goes down. Zero demand for a commodity does not change as income changes. For example, essential goods, necessary goods, no impact on quantity demanded. Greater than zero but less than one, again inelasticity, demand for commodity rises in proportion to a rise in income. Unity exactly same as what is the change in income. Income increases by 10%, consumption also increases by 10%. Yeah. So I will take all the questions in the end, disturbing the flow of the session, but I will answer all the queries, don't worry. Greater than unity. So the examples or the terminologies is same. Either it will be perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic. Either it will be relatively elastic or relatively inelastic, or there will be unitary. Understand the concept once. What is unitary elastic? When a change in quantity demanded is exactly similar to the change in price, it is unitary elastic. When the change in demand is in more than the change in income, then it is relatively elastic. When change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage of change in income, it is relatively inelastic. When the change in income has no impact on the quantity demanded, it is inelastic. When there is huge change in the quantity demanded of a product to change in income, it is perfectly elastic. So the terminologies will remain the same. It's not going to change. So have these concepts clear. MCQs will come, so don't confuse yourself. Simplest way to answer it will be whether quantity demanded will change. If it will change, and if it is going to change more than the percentage of change in factor, be it price, be it income, it will be a elastic situation. The demand will be elastic. Clear? Examples in income elasticity. Income elasticity demand I gave you. You will have to study it from the goods perspective. Necessary goods, even if income increases, I will buy it. Luxury goods, if income reduces, I will not buy it. If income increases, I will buy it. Inferior goods, if income increases, I will switch to better option, superior goods. If income reduces, I will switch from superior goods to inferior goods. Public transport, inferior. Ola, Uber, superior. Income increases, I shift from public transport to Ola. If income reduces, I shift from Ola to public transport. Clear? What is cross elasticity? Cross elasticity is when I study now a change in quantity demanded of product A due to change in price of another product, which is product B. Now, first of all, why do I need to study cross elasticity? Why would suppliers be interested to study cross elasticity? What is going to be the impact of change in price of another product on my product? This knowledge is important to the organization, because if they are planning for an increase in price, then they will study what is going to be the impact of that price change on quantity demanded. Yes, complementary substitute. Now, where you have substitute easily available, you really have the liberty to change the prices, because you change the price and the consumer will start shifting to another product. Either you spend a lot of money in advertisement to differentiate how your product is different from the substitute available, then increase the prices. And hence we have seen that a lot of companies spend a lot of money on advertisement, and the reason is to establish the differentiating factor. If I am able to differentiate my product with another, then what I am trying to do, I am making other product as not substitute of my product. And hence, if I increase the price of my product, I don't want consumers to shift to another commodity. Now, this is why people or the companies study cross elasticity, that how quantity demanded of my product or the competitor's product is going to change if I change my prices or if competitor change their prices. Now, example here you have which you have seen in front of your eyes is when Jio was launched. When Jio as a telecom service provider entered the market, all saw how the quantity demanded or how the consumers reacted to it. More and more consumers shifted to Jio, the existing service provider. Now, this study would have been done that how much is going to be the quantity demanded if the price of another competitor does not changes. When I study change in quantity of one product with respect to another product, so tell me, in case of substitute, what will be the scenario? If you have a substitute available, then an increase in price of my commodity will result in increase in quantity demanded for substitute. So example is tea and coffee. Let's say if the tea prices of tea increases, people will prefer to consume more of a coffee. So if prices tea goes down or goes up, the demand for coffee will increase. Similarly, if coffee is priced more and tea is priced less, people will switch from coffee to tea. This is a case of cross elasticity study. When we study what will be the change in demand of a substitute. What about complementary goods? The goods which are complementary to each other. So, yeah, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, another example of substitute. Can someone give me an example of complementary goods? Car, petrol, yes. Any other example where quantity demanded? Pen and ink, yes. Bread, butter, perfect, yes. Tea and sugar, yes. Lock and key, shoe polish and shoe, yes. Toothpaste and toothbrush, socks and shoes, brilliant. Phone and charger, absolutely correct. Yes. Software and hardware, operating system and hardware, yeah. Coronavirus and sanitizers, yes. Okay. So if let's say let's take one example, shampoo and conditioner. I cannot give that example. I don't have here. So let's take something else. Let's take tea and coffee are not substitute are not complementary. Those are substitute. Let's take can we take milk and tea? So milk and tea, if price of milk increases, will people stop consuming tea? No. So in case of complementary goods, another example, car and fuel. If petrol prices increases, will people stop buying car? Answer is no. So in case of complementary goods, you saw the response is negative. So it is inelastic. Yes, tea is an emotion. Yes. Now in case of substitute goods, give me the example of substitute goods now. Tea, coffee, and cola. Okay, let's take Pepsi and cola. Substitute goods. If price of Pepsi increases, will people buy Pepsi more or Coca-Cola more? If price of Pepsi increases, the quantity demanded of Coca-Cola will increase or decrease? Increase. Yes. So here we are seeing positive response in quantity demanded to a change in price, which means here it is elasticity. So for substitute goods, cross elasticity will be positive. For complementary goods, it will be negative. Clear? About the commodities which are absolutely not related to each other. For example, Pepsi and tea. What will happen if the price of Pepsi increases? Will that have any impact on the change on the quantity demanded for tea? No change. So there is no correlation between the two products. Yes. So when there is no change, the commodities are not related. When there is a change or a very small change, there, there exists cross elasticity. Cross elasticity is important to find so that the leaders of the organization understand and devise their strategy for advertisement or any price change. Now let's study this increase in demand and decrease in demand and expansion and contraction of demand. This is very important, and I'm sure one question is going to come from this section for sure, because we need to understand the difference, otherwise we'll get confused and select the wrong option in the exam. We are going to read this word by word and understand what is the difference between increase in demand and expansion of demand. Change in demand includes an increase or decrease in demand due to change in price of related goods, the income of consumers and the preference of consumers, the demand for product changes. So what is increase in demand? When demand changes not because of price, but because of change in other factors, then that is increase in demand. It is a case of either increase or decrease in demand. Increase in demand means more demand at same price. So let's take this graph. This quantity, this price. The price of a product is same 60. Let's say of some advertisement, because of some advertisement, people realize that this product is better. For example, in this COVID-19 situation, people, when it was out in the news that vitamin C will increase the immunity of the people per person, suddenly there was an increase in demand for vitamin C tablets and there was a shortage in supply. Because of this information, at same price, there was a change in quantity demanded. Say earlier there were 500 units being demanded. Now those have shifted to 600. Earlier the curve was like this. Now the curve has shifted, increased. Now this is what we call as increase in demand. But let's say if it would have been a case of price reduces 50 and then quantity demanded increases, it will appear on the same graph only. It will not be a scenario of increase in demand, that will be a case of expansion in demand or contraction of demand. When the change in demand happens because of change in price, it is expansion or contraction. When the change in demand is because of any other factor than price, it is increase or decrease. Always remember, associate these words expansion and contraction of demand with price only. Clear? Have this concept very clear. I guarantee there is going to be a question. Quantity demanded of a commodity increases as a result of fall in the price. It is called extension or expansion in demand. When the quantity demanded decreases as a result of an increase in the price of a commodity, it's called contraction in demand. When the change in quantity demanded is because of change in prices, it will be expansion and contraction. Okay, what's the problem? I don't know. What are you trying to say? Next, forms of market competition. Let's understand this. Perfect competition market. So there we are going to discuss 5 types of market. Let's understand it with examples, and I'm sure you will be able to remember it. Perfect competition. Now, this type of market is very difficult to find in the practical scenario. What are the assumptions in this market? That there will be large number of buyers, there will be large number of sellers. All the sellers will be selling identical goods. There are no entry and exit barriers from this market. Anyone can come and start their business. If anyone, whenever they want, can go out of the business. No license is required or less license is required. And more assumption here is buyers have all the knowledge about the product, about the sellers. So they are aware of what is happening. Now, because of which no seller can charge more. So all the sellers in the commodity sell at the same price. Large number of buyers, large number of sellers, identical goods, no entry exit barrier, same price by the sellers is a case of perfect market. Practically impossible to find. It's just theoretical concept. So there are large number of buyers, large number of sellers. All the sellers are small sellers in competition with each other. No one big seller with one significant influence. All the firms in such market are price takers. They have to sell it at the same price. They cannot command the price. Assumptions. It's a theoretical concept. See, all the products are identical. Firms have motive of profit maximization. Free entry exit from the market. No barriers as such. No concept of consumer preference as such. Same goods are available, so preference question doesn't arise. You go to seller A, you go to seller B, you are going to get same product. So perfect competition. Now you may have get a question in the exam. Yes. Next is monopolistic. Now it's more realistic what we see. Large number of buyers in the same monopolistic market also. Monopolistic competitive market. There will be large number of sellers also. But here sellers will have different pricing. So the products may be similar, but but there will be some differentiating factors also. So example of monopolistic competitive market, let's say mobile phones. You have a lot of players. Everyone decides their own price. It's not a price. Products are similar. They are all mobile phones, but they all have differentiating factors. Here buyers have a preference. They enjoy consumer preference. They have to decide with which seller they want to go with and buy. So more realistic scenario, large number of buyers as well as sellers, but they don't sell homogeneous product. They sell similar products, but slightly differentiated. So there is some differentiating factors. Consumers will have the preference to choose from which product they want to buy. The seller can now also charge marginally higher prices. Whenever there is a differentiating factors, pricing is going to be different. So some may enjoy market power, some may not. So sellers become price setters here and not the price takers. Clear? So this is more realistic what we see in the practical world. No, in present scenario you cannot see that. Railways is monopoly. We will come to that. Oligopoly. Oligopoly will be the situation where there are very few players, not more than 3, 5 players, dominant firms. There will be a lot of entry exit barriers. You need a lot of licenses, permission to set up operations, or the capital requirement is very high. So therefore, very few people would step in that market. No new firms will come very easily because there are entry exit barriers. Now, in this type of market, sellers will either compete with each other or they will collaborate with each other. The example of oligopoly will be the telecom sector in India now. Very small players, number of players, Jio, Idea, Vodafone. Now, Idea, Vodafone, Jio started competing. Airtel is also there. Yes, lot of, so very few players, handful of players. Some will be dominant. For example, in today's scenario, Jio is dominant, who actually dominated the industry and actually set the prices. Another feature of this type of market oligopoly will be there will be large number of buyers, and because there are few sellers, they will be price setters and buyers will be price takers here only. Yes. In an oligopoly, LPG is also one sector. Yes. Few firms in market, no clarity about the number of firms. 3 or 4 dominant firms are considered the norm. Buyers are far greater than the sellers. So large number of buyers. Monopoly is very different. The firm in this case either compete or collaborate. What we saw with Idea Vodafone happening, they collaborated. They use their market influence to set the prices. We saw Jio setting the prices in the market and maximizing their profits. So the consumers become price takers and there are various entries in the market. So a lot of capital requirement is there. So no new firm will think about getting in the market. New firms will find it difficult to establish in the industry. So there is no fear in the minds of seller also that tomorrow there will be new party coming in. How do we prepare? Let me answer the questions in the end. 5 minutes I'll dedicate to that. Monopoly. Now, monopoly is a situation where you have only one player, only one seller, one single firm will control the entire market because there is only one player. For example, railways, there is no one else competing. So, whatever the price they charge, RBI, yes, but we are not consumers of RBI. We are consumers of banks, and there are many banks. Electricity, yes. It can set any price it wishes since it has a market power. Another company which kind of enjoys monopoly is also in the razor industry. We have Gillette. Gillette is a kind of monopoly player. Consumers do not have any other alternative and must pay the price set by seller. So they don't have option. They have to go with that option only. Monopolies are extremely undesirable, and hence we have a law in India or any other country also. We have a competition law which prohibits monopoly to be set up. There are many, but market share is more with Gillette. I just gave you an example. Here, consumers lose their power and market forces become irrelevant because market is now determined by the seller only. Share market also you have commodity exchange, futures, duopoly. Now again, as the name suggests, duo means there will be two players only in the market. only two dominant firms. No small firms will be found in this type of market. Again, it's a kind of oligopoly, you can say. Few firms dominating the industry. Again, rare to find. There are only two firms. They will again determine the market force. They will be the market force. They will set the prices, and the buyers will be the takers here also. So, oligopoly and duopoly, the difference will be in oligopoly, there will be more than two players. In duopoly, we are talking about two dominant firms only. So, entry barrier again will be high so that no other player can come in. Again, very, very theoretical concept. We don't see such things happening in the real world. No, Pizza Hut, Domino's, no, we have other players also in the market. Usually that used to be BSNL, MTNL, telecom service provider, but now we have many. Visa, Master, Rupee, there are many. Let's move. All the types of market are clear to you. The questions will come, give you the features and ask you which type of market is. You will have to select the right option. Elasticity of supply. Ola, Uber also you cannot say there are private travel operators, tours. So there are players. Again, in local market, you will see you go to Goa, you don't find Ola, Uber. So let's understand elasticity because we have understood elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply is also going to be very easy. Let me continue with this session. I will go through the chat box in the end and answer each question. So let's complete the chapter first. Elasticity of supply. Here what we are going to study is how much is going to be the change in quantity supplied because of the change in price. Right? So exactly same of what we discussed in quantity demanded. Again, will be five types of situations, five possibilities: perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, relatively inelastic, and unitary. Clear? When change in quantity supplied is exactly similar to change in price, what will be that type of elasticity? Can someone answer that? Change in quantity supplied is exactly same or similar in same proportion to change in price, unitary. Change in price is less than the change in quantity supplied. So change in quantity supplied is more than the change in price, percentage change in price. Will that situation be relatively elastic? Yeah. No change in quantity supplied because of change in price. Elastic. Change in quantity supplied is less than change in price. Relatively inelastic. Perfect. We are through with what is the type, what are the different types of elasticity. If you understood change elasticity of demand, it will be easy for you to understand this. So now let's understand does influence elasticity of supply. Which are the factors which will have an impact on quantity supplied? is price of the goods, obviously. Why we say quantity supplied will be more when there will be change in price, increase in price, because the profit margins will increase. With this thought in the background, let's see what do you mean by price of having an impact on quantity supplied. The supply of good, supply elasticity of supply depend on the price of a good. If a price of goods increases or decreases, quantity supplied of it also will increase or decrease. This is the law of supply, we have discussed it. Probability that price would change in future. When I know that prices will change in future, if it will reduce in future, if it reduce in future, whether the supplier will supply now more or in future more, if the price of commodity is going to reduce in future, now more, yes, supplier will prefer to supply when the prices are high, and when the prices are going to increase, he will hold the stock now and sell in future. One factor which will have an impact on elasticity is the speculation or probability of whether the prices in future will change. If it is going to change, it will have an impact on quantity supplied. Conditions regarding cost of production. Now, what is cost of production? So, cost of production, there are factors of production we discussed that day. Land, labor, capital are factors of production. Cost of any of the factor of production increases, it will result in increase in cost of a product. Increase in cost of will result in reduce in profit margin. When profit margin will go down, whether the supplier will prefer to supply more or less. 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 Yes. So cost of production increases, supply will go down. Yes. Similarly, technology also will have an impact here. Because of technology, the cost of production goes down. Because of technology, the cost of production goes down, the profit increases, supplier will supply more. Nature of goods. Nature of goods, the goods are of perishable nature, cannot be stored for long time. So the size of market available also will be very small. I cannot transport the goods to a very distant location. So market will be localized. Clear? It will also have an impact. So depending on the nature of goods, more the perishability, the more would be the market localized. Length of time, if price of a good rises, then how much would supply rise or how large will be the price elasticity would depend on the length of time available for necessary adjustments. Again, time period here. Yes, we are almost in the end. Don't worry. Let's take 1 minute to discuss this length of time. If price of good rises and the consumers will take time to adjust to that. For example, if we don't have any other option and the price have increased and there will be time taken to adapt to the situation, the elasticity of supply in the longer period market would be larger than that in the shorter period market. So in the shorter period market, I don't have an option. So I will respond very less. The change in quantity supplied will be very less. But if it's a long period market, I will have time to adapt to the changes in the circumstances. Then the elasticity will be more. Clear? So length of time is, yeah. So now let me take the questions one by one. Price is determined by cost of production. How change in price can affect supply? Price is determined, but cost of production, here the assumption is the profit margin will not increase. If the profit will not increase, then the supplier will prefer to supply less. MSCs are not example for perfect competition. No, we have many players now entered into this segment, and so we have players, a lot of agencies, retail market chains who have entered into the market. It's no more a perfect competition, I would say. Power suppliers, oligopoly, yes. We get this highlighted PDF. Okay, I can give you that. Ping me. I will write my email address again. Now I have created few MCQs based on this chapter. If anyone is interested to have those to solve it, just send me email and I will send the MCQs to you. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Emails you are putting it here. I would suggest you send me a test email asking for need MCQ just in the subject. I will send it to you. It will be very difficult to capture each and every mail from here. I don't want to miss out on anyone. Yes. The sample questions, yes, sample question, extra questions I will send. Sample questions you may solve it. I'm sure you will be able to solve it. So send emails to me and I will send you the MCQs. As an exam point of view, preparation is concerned, guys, understand one thing. If you have read the module, read study material line by line, I'm sure you will be able to crack the exam in the first attempt. No need to refer to any other material. The material provided by institute is sufficient for you to uh, crack the exams. Only condition is you should have read the module line by line, one word by word. I think recorded classes will be there on the learning management system. I would suggest write an email to institute and they will be able to help you with that. Yes. The real key here, I would say, advise is solve as many questions as possible MCQs. And if you just go on the Google and MCQs for a particular subject. There are a lot of portals who are offering free MCQs. So practice as much as possible and test your knowledge, how much you have understood. That's the best of preparing. Read chapters, solve the MCQs, as many MCQs as possible. And I'm sure you will be able to crack the exam in the first attempt only. No need to search for any other study material. The material provided has is more than enough. I've received a few questions on my WhatsApp also. I will reply to each and every message, so don't worry. It may take a little time. I have other commitments, other classes also to take. Yeah. Session we will start with the second chapter, National Income Accounting and Concepts. A very important one. WhatsApp number, I'll give it to you. Yes. Websites, I think you Google it and you will find it. Do a little bit of Googling and you will get it. You will get it answers also. Don't worry. Yes. Thank you so much. And next session we'll start national income accounting. Those who want FAQs, send me an email. I will send it to you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Take care.